Hi, Larry K, ShadowAnyone.com. Depending on where you are and when you're watching this, I can tell you the other day we had a fair amount of snow here. And I mention this because I was out driving and I saw a guy working a snowplow. And it was not just a standard pickup truck with a plow on it. This was a sizable piece of gear, a very impressive truck. He was plowing, laying down salt. And you could tell that maybe this was the only vehicle he owned. Maybe he owned a couple of smaller ones, but he was driving this one and his guys were driving the other ones. But I kind of got the impression that he was driving this truck. It might be the only one he owned. And I mention this because he was doing a terrible job. He, first of all, did not have any of the lights on the truck. Was not signaling. He was moving out of parking lots into the street. Traffic didn't know what he was doing. And even the way he was pushing snow and piling up, blocking big chunks of parking spaces and access areas, you could just tell he was not doing it right or well. Now, why do I mention this? Well, in the private investigation world, we run into all sorts of people who think the gear is the secret. And clearly this guy had a truck that any snow removal guy would be envious of, would love to have a piece of gear like this. And in private investigations, we can get hung up on that. We can get hung up on if I had this recorder or that audio software or this vehicle. And what I want you to know is really it's up here. You will need some gear for some of the work you do, and especially surveillance. There's one aspect you're going to need some gear. You're going to need a decent camera. You're going to need the right vehicle, that type of thing. But you still don't have to spend a ton of money on it. And buying the stuff, and I'm going to say it this way, buying the toys, the neat things, just to have them. If you want to feel like a private investigator, get them, have them, put them on your shelf. But in the real world, this is a business. It's a private investigation business. And you have to think about profit and loss. And are you going to put money into gear that you're not really going to use or probably not going to use? And this is something that all businesses go through, all small entrepreneurs struggle with this. What if I need it? So you can get most things shipped to you overnight, 24 hours if you really need it. You don't necessarily need your gear that quickly. And you're going to find a core set of things. Tools are really what you're going to use most of the time. So once you have a vehicle and a camera, you're going to use paper to take notes. You can do all those things. When you come to writing your reports, you can just use straight out word processing software. You don't need some fancy software to write your reports. Now, when you get into case management, when you have a variety of cases you have to handle and juggle in an archive, some case management software might help you. But just a word processor, titling your cases properly, using dates and client names, those types of things are going to be perfectly fine for you. So don't get hung up on buying the things. What you really need is the knowledge. What you really need is to know how to do the job. You can get the gear as you need the gear. This is Larry K, ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.